So, to make a long story short, the misconceptions of Red Hood video is going to take exponentially longer than I ever could have foreseen, mostly due to my own laziness, but that's neither here or there. So instead of making you guys wait forever for a new video, I thought I'd do something simple and easy to keep you guys entertained while the next big vid is in the oven. If any of y'all didn't know, I'm pretty big into fighting games.
Oh my god!
And in the community, tier lists run rampant. Whether it's based on the strength of a character, who'd make good DLC, whoever has the best fit, whatever you can imagine. So I decided to try my hand at making my own tier list based around the advent of the new DCEU helmed by James Gunn. I settled on the tier list being based around the new Batman film in the works for this universe that supposedly has Damian Wayne as Robin, which unironically heavily piques my interest because Damian is one of the more recent members of the Bat family, at least canonically wise, in a very long list of them. So him being the main Robin does allow other members to be pre-established and take big roles in the new universe. So this is actually what I'd like to discuss in this video. Who would I like to see make an appearance in what I'm guessing to be an upcoming trilogy? But it would be boring if I just put everyone, even though that would be cool. Realistically, adapting all these characters would take much too long, and I think the Bat family is too bloated with samey characters anyways. So here are my stipulations. It's going to only be the Costume Crusaders being listed, and the tiers will be major role, active member, meaning this character would be a focal character, along with Bruce and Damian across the trilogy. Minor role, inactive member, meaning the character in this tier will be a focus for maybe one movie, then take a step back. So you won't see them hanging around the Batcave 24/7 if that makes any sense. A minor role, active member, meaning the character will appear here or there across the trilogy, never taking a focal role if that makes any sense. Cameo, meaning these characters will either get name dropped or appear and do something, but not overstay their welcome. Think Huntress' role in the Hush animated movie. And don't adapt, meaning these characters won't be adapted for whatever reason, with only 5 characters making it in, as either major or minor roles, barring Bruce, Damian, and Alfred themselves, because I think an 8-man roster is already humongous as is. So as my grandpappy used to say, let's get into the super gravy of this video. So the first character up is, well, the first Robin, Dick Grayson. This might come as a shock to absolutely no one, but I think Dick is a quintessential character to put in the universe. He offers so much as a character, as both a supporting one and a main lead, and has proven as much in the comics, with an expansive and successful history. Dick's appearance here could lead to a branch-off Nightwing series of movies set in Bloodhaven, or hell, maybe even some Titan stuff. But anyways, I'm moving him into the minor role inactive character category, which might shock some, but just hear me out. I think Dick can be around for one movie as a main focus, but I don't want him to be constantly hanging around the Batcave. He has other stuff to do as his own solo hero. This is actually one of my biggest gripes concerning modern Batman comics, is that the Batfam feels way too overcrowded because they're all together for every event and every situation, instead of just allowing them to do their own thing and cycle in and out depending on the story or situation. Okay, so next up is Jason, and I think he's going to join his big bro Dickie in the minor role but in an active character. I think Jason, like Dick, has so much to offer as a main lead and a supporting character, but also has much more diversity in what role he can play than pretty much anyone else in the Batfam, due to him being so gray as a character morality wise. I think Dick and Jason can carry their own solo movies based around the stuff they do away from the Batfam, so I think both two kinda outgrew it into niches of their own. The big difference is, Dick has a wealth of good stories to pull from with a proven track record, while Jason, to say the least, does not. Not at the fault of the character, mostly due to DC being unimaginative and having poor storytelling. Jason has a lot of potential as a character, which I think I displayed from the videos I made about him. So I'd like for Jason to appear as an antagonist for one movie, inspired by his interpretation under Jude Winnick as an anti-villain mob boss, trying to control crime in Gotham and protect it in his own misguided way. After that, I don't want Jason to immediately reconcile with Bruce or the rest of the fam, but go off and do his own thing. with Jason over time realizing the faults and becoming more of a hero again through his appearances in other movies or whatever. Okay, next up is Tim, the often neglected Robin. And sadly, I'll keep up that trend of neglect to the dismay of Tim fans by putting him in the do not adapt tier. Sorta. So I feel that Tim doesn't really bring anything or do anything all that unique in the Batverse that another character can't cover while being more attention grabbing with their personality and whatnot. So this is where I'll kinda just talk about Steph as well. I just roll aspects of Tim's character into Stephanie, and keep her as spoiler since Damien is Robin. So Steph could retain being Cluemaster's daughter, and instead, she figures out Batman's identity, like Tim, when searching for help against her father. And she will take the role as the buffer sidekick Batman had in between Jason and Damien, aiding in bringing Bruce back from the brink after Jason's death. In all honesty, if Damien wasn't already the designated Robin, I would have just made Steph the main Robin of the movies. So in short, Steph will be my first character in the major role active member tier. Next up is Barbara Gordon. So, to be blunt, I'm just gonna say that she's going to go into the major role active member role, but with a caveat. She has to be Oracle and stay Oracle. No magic spine braids, no more Batgirl. I think Babs as Oracle gives so much to the Bat family, being the tech wizard, I guess that's what I'm gonna call her effectively, who's completely reliant on her brain and has to stay out of the field since she has a very limited means of defending herself. In a traditional sense. It can really make for some nail-biting situations when she's compromised that no other character in the Bat fam can offer. She gives a lot while also giving representation to the disabled, while having her own unique niche. Like Nightwing, her appearance can naturally open doors to a Birds of Prey solo movie, with Babs being the point character since we've already been introduced to her in the Batman movies. On another note, in regards to Babs and Steph, I really like their additions because they mix things up within the Bat fam. What I mean is, we don't really need another expert martial artist who could take on a gang of like 1,000 dudes like Batman or Nightwing or Cassandra Cain again. Because there's already a dime a dozen characters like that in the Bat fam, so I feel like the more human ones who have to be a bit more cautious, because the most mundane threat to, let's say, Bruce can be very lethal to them, like Babs in the wheelchair and Stephanie being Stephanie because she's not trained by like monks from 1,000 years, some other bullshit. Like, well, Stephanie's not insanely well trained. So, like, yeah, she can take on your average, like, mook, but she is a bit weaker than the rest of the Bat family, and I really like her for that, actually, in my opinion. So what I'm trying to say is that Oracle and Steph can just really mix things up, like, when it comes to action and conflicts, and you don't always need to escalate more and more to have really nice fight scenes regarding them, in my opinion. Okay, so next up is Cass. Now I know I'm about to get called a massive hypocrite for this, but just hear me out. I'm putting Cass in major role active member tier. I know, I literally just said the Batfam needs less epic, expert martial artist characters, but I'll make an exception for Cass, since she doesn't really function like the other expert martial artists in my opinion, and I think that makes her stand out. I think Cass being nigh unbeatable in a hand-to-hand fight makes it so writing conflicts with her involved have to be creative unless you, well, want to make her a jobber. Because for the most part, the main way to beat her is by outsmarting her. If you don't have some broken superpowers or something like that. And therefore Cass is forced to use her head to get within her ideal range to win the fight. A good example of this would be how Jotaro Kujo fights in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where Star Platinum is so much more powerful than other stands, to the point where most users, even half aware of Star Platinum, simply keep their distance from it and figure out ways to outsmart Jotaro, forcing Jotaro to have to close the distance carefully and in creative ways to get into his ideal distance where he can finally lay the smackdown on his opponent. I would imagine Cass fights being something like that, if there's even an ounce of care and creativity injected into the script. Quick side note before I carry on, I wish DC writers respected each Bat family member's strengths and weaknesses. It would mitigate some of my issues with a large extended Bat fam that's all the rage right now, since at least each member will feel different from one another. But that's for another time. Okay, so next up is Selena. So she's a funny one because I'm not sure where to put her. She could either be in an active role or inactive role. I think it would depend on if her and Bruce are married or not. Like, I'll put her an active member if she marries Bruce, but at the same time, I feel like, very similarly to Dick and Jason, being in the Bat family kinda diminishes Selena's character. Like, when Selena is away from Bruce, she's allowed to be vengeful, somewhat selfish, and on occasion, sometimes homicidal when pushed. Like, she's at her most interesting and badass when she isn't with Bruce, in my opinion, because she gets to be 100% her own character and not be constrained to Bruce's morality. But I can't tell if that's because she hasn't been allowed to get any good stories really as the spouse of Batman. I feel like there's potential there, just no one has really tapped into it in a way that would interest me at least. Also, final thing, but like Jason, since Selena is a bit more of a grey character, who does more than flirt with crime, she provides so many storytelling opportunities by being able to go undercover and fit in places Bruce and the others might never be able to. Overall, Selena offers too much to not be a shoo-in, so I'll just put her a major role inactive member, but she can realistically be either, depending on the situation. But wait, hold up. I just realized I have 6 characters in major role, so I'm gonna have to cut one. And I think I know who. Now that I think about it, yeah, I might have to cut Cass since I feel like her and Damien are similar-ish, even though they are very different. It's just the premise is similar-ish. Like, if it was 100% up to me, I'd just kick Damien out and have Cass, since she does the whole raised by assassins and must learn how to live a normal life thing much better, while not having the character assassinate Talia al Ghul in the process. I'd just have Cass be Batgirl and Steph be the main Robin, with Babs being Oracle being the mentor to the Batgirl filling her old cowl. And Bruce getting the second chance with helping a troubled kid with a good heart through Steph after his failure with Jason. But sadly, since Damien's already going to be in these movies, I'm just gonna have to, he can't be cut, so I'm just gonna have to cut Cass instead. So I guess that will be it for my preferred Batfam lineup. I will like to go through each of the rejected members and explain my reasoning, starting with Duke, since I already went over Tim earlier. So in the case of Duke, I'm going to sound incredibly ignorant, because the truth is, I never found Duke that interesting. I remember reading the We Are Robin stuff a few years back, and if you put a gun to my head and told me to recite anything about this character, I'd just say, tell my mom I love her. He's overall forgettable to me, added on top of the fact that he's a metahuman, which I think is just whack to have in the Batfam. I know I'm gonna have like one of the 3 Duke fans on planet Earth screeching at me in the comments telling me about how wrong I am and how I don't understand the complexities of this wannabe Power Ranger. Like, I just don't get how you could be a fan of him. Like, look at Bro's fit, dog. How are you a fan of this shit? It looks like a Halloween costume bought at Party City. You deserve to be on a list for liking this bum-ass, Mighty Morphin looking. Okay, next up is Kate Kane. So overall, I think she's pretty cool. Like, I'm not a huge fan of hers in the sense that I read like her comics or anything. I just find her inoffensive whenever she appears. I just can't really justify having her in this lineup over characters I already picked. So like in the case of Cass, it's
Psst. Nothing personnel, kid.
So last but not least is Huntress. And this won't be quick because I don't think Huntress really belongs in the Batfam, if that makes any sense. I prefer her far away from it, but I wouldn't mind her showing up briefly when they need help, and Barbara calls her up for assistance. Like, she would be an awesome cameo, kinda helping to build up hype for the Birds of Prey movie, through showing a brief display of her dynamic with Babs, or maybe even Dick, foreshadowing an appearance of hers in the Nightwing movie. But overall, I kind of view her in the same way I view Dick and Jason, where she's kind of her own character with her own niche, and most importantly, was never really raised by Bruce and never really had an insanely great relationship with him. So I just keep it at she's just friends with some of the members of the Batfam, but probably won't be having Thanksgiving dinner with the rest of them, if that makes any sense. So that's that. There's no more characters to list, so tell me what you guys think of this style of video. Did you enjoy it, or do you prefer my longer content? Also, please tell me in the comments, what's your ideal Batfam list for the upcoming DCEU? Is that right? I forgot, who cares? Well, I think it's DCEU, whatever, who cares? And tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. If you guys like this video, I'm probably going to do something similar to this in the future, but for the Batman villains, I'd like to see make an appearance in these movies, which should be even more fun, honestly. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next rant.